Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Break It Dawn. Let's check in with my companions and crew. When you approach, Victus pulls away from fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? You may be interested to know that a group of officers was discussing a grim rumor over lunch. Word has it the apparition of Lord Captain Theodora has been sighted on board lately. Yes, you heard right. They say she is haunting the decks, dragging wayward crew members off into oblivion. This quiet has spread throughout this ship, as the anomaly has been reported in different sections, sometimes entire kilometers apart. The Voxmaster leans closer to you. Master Heinrich van Calix expressed interest in our communication stations and Voxnets a short while ago. The interrogator appears to be very well versed in the matters of sacred technology, and it worries me. A man of his knowledge and in his line of work is capable of discreetly planting his own devices in our systems. We will be vigilant, Lord Captain. We should try to be more careful as well. I have nothing to hide.
Lord Captain? Lord Captain.
To what do I owe this visit?
I guess because we're in a new system, I can't trade with anybody. It's only local factions. At least for now.
The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all. May...
All right, let's hear an ancient world with a riven heart. Find the path to it, and its riches will be yours. But paths there are two, and both will cloak you in disgrace, and neither is what it seems. What will you choose, rogue trader? The fall of the Empyrean, or the fall of the dead gods?
Nadira's voice is sonorous and crystal clear, almost theatrical.
In the cradle of your ancestors, a black dragon hungers, cunning and spitting venom. Many paths lead from home, but only one leads back to it, black and full of sorrow. When you start along the path, make haste. Make haste. Another road. The road begins at the threshold of the expanse and leads to the bowels of the emerging world. Reading the threads of fate is not meant for you, slave of the enthroned corpse. Step into the embrace of doom, for thus was it preordained by the architect of fates.
Nadira turns gray and begins gasping for breath. A foreign voice tears its way out of her rasping throat. The deep, heavy rumbling of a distant avalanche.
That wasn't me. I swear on everything that's holy. I don't know what the second road is or who watches over it, but I beg you, stay away from it.
Nadira sucks in a breath and coughs. Something pale and wriggling flies out of her mouth and hits the floor. White maggots that immediately melt and turn into smoke.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me. Of course.
So the threshold of the expanse, is that referring to Footfall? I assume so, since that's where we showed up and that's her most recent vision. It's relevant to where we're currently at in the system.
have enjoyed your...
Greetings.
We've had this conversation with him before, I thought. Do you know anything about a ship named the Fiery Reckoning? Trevor winces as if in pain. I've heard the name, that much I'm sure of, but I can't recall the details. Huh. I wonder if it was part of the operation that the late Mort was put in charge of. If it was, there's nothing I can tell you, Lord Captain. The whole thing was kept under wraps. Your best chance would be to ask the High Factotum. Maybe some of his treasury records have mentions of this Fiery Reckoning. Maybe it was the Factotum that we spoke to about it. Lord Captain, Ravor's voice over the Vox sounds wary rather than annoyed. I'm getting reports of several ships moving toward us. Judging by the fact that they're not responding to our hails, and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders to prepare for battle at your command. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? The rubbish of Furibundus, and I'm not talking about these wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, refuse from the shipyards. It all bunches together, and the smaller ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp. Could this be the work of Conrad Voigtvir? The silence over the Vox lasts for several seconds. It's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. Can we evade this combat? Ravor snorts, or perhaps chuckles. I don't think so, Lord Captain. There'd be no reason to. It'll be easier to blast these scum to smithereens than to evade them. We'll warn Footfall we're coming with a few macro salvos. On my order, all stations get ready for void combat. Our first sample of the ship battle mechanic.
All stations, report when manned and ready.
2 Cobra-class destroyers. You've engaged the enemy in space combat. Battles in space and on the surfaces of planets work quite differently from one another. In space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness. 1 acceleration zone, 2 mid-movement zone, and 3 end movement zone. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traversed this minimum required distance upon entering the end movement zone. Okay, very straightforward, just go ahead and move. Can I ram it?
Helmsman, take us in.
Your ship is equipped with an arsenal of weapons, which differ in terms of range, of fire, and offer you a variety of ways to assault your opponents. The ship can attack with each of its weapons once per turn. Note these can be fired as the ship moves, as attacking does not end the ship's movement. Each of the ship's weapons has a separate attack action on the panel at the bottom of the screen. You can click on an attack's icon to view its firing arc, and consider what position on the battlefield would be the most advantageous for your ship.
Fire at will.
Some ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to such an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. 2 shield arrays cover the ship's sides, one protects its bow, and the other its stern. When facing an enemy ship equipped with shields, choose your angle of attack wisely, and direct your fire at a side where the shields are weakened or completely depleted. Note the enemy shields recover each round. The Rogue Trader's flagship is likewise protected by shields. If the enemy attacks you from a side where the shields are weakened or depleted, the ship will take damage. The flagship's damage shields do not recover at the start of the next turn. Instead, they can be restored using the Restart Shields action on the panel at the bottom of the screen. Restarting the shields reduces the flagship's combat efficiency. On its next turn, it will have reduced movement speed and firing range. Alright, torpedoes. You have fired a torpedo salvo. Torpedoes will appear next turn in the priority order. Once their turn begins, you'll be able to direct them. Your own torpedoes can pass through the space occupied by your flagship without damaging it. As soon as torpedoes reach a cell adjacent to an enemy, or any enemy, they explode. Enemy ships can attack your torpedoes and destroy them before they reach their target. One well-placed shot destroys one torpedo in a salvo.
Coordinates set. Salvo! Let them taste our fury. Macro cannons, open fire. All hands, prepare for acceleration. Coordinates set. Keep up the pressure.
Just out of range. Hopefully not this turn. Nice.
My premonitions never fail me.
Repairing your ship. Enemy attacks can penetrate your shields and damage your ship's hull. This damage remains after the battle is over and must be repaired. Open the Void Ship Management screen to make repairs to your ship. Use scrap to repair your ship and restore its hull integrity. Scrap can be found while exploring star systems, collected after certain space battles, or purchased from merchants affiliated with various factions. Straightforward enough. Alright, we have a few places we can go. Probably start with this ship. Bruce's Blessing. Lord Captain, we have the flagship Drusus's Blessing with a small escort dead ahead. They are requesting a direct Vox channel, patching you through. Chartist Captain Asterius Thorfast. The Vox channel clicks, and after a brief pause, a dry, low voice hails you. Greetings, Lord Captain. I'm honored to speak with the rogue trader of House von Valancius. May your name be known through the ages. Chartist Captain Asterius Thorfast, the bearer of a free charter of the merchant fleet. How can I be of service? What is your squadron doing here? We develop supply routes for Chartists. You see, my ship is a representative of the merchant fleet in this part of Imperium territory. Yet we do not have a fixed, charter-defined trade route. Our mission is to establish business contacts with voidfarers in need of regular ship repairs, and those who are interested in specialized goods. From where do you source the components you sell? Are you asking me to disclose our suppliers to you? Thorfast laughs airily. Well, frankly, they come from both everywhere and nowhere. We get our wares either from lucky voidsmen who stumble upon an abandoned or dilapidated ship somewhere in a neighboring system, or from unlucky ones whose sorry tub arrives on Footfall, in such a state that it's easier to take her apart than to restore her. I would like to know more about the merchant fleet's operations in the Coronos Expanse. For the most part, all the Expanse has its fleets of different organizations and small flotillas of merchant ships. Uninterrupted communication between worlds is a matter of life and death for many outposts of humanity. So even in this dark corner of the Imperium, there are Chartists and ships assigned to the various Adeptus. Alas, the Expanse has next to no stable trade routes, so the job can be precarious at times. Then again, no one is more intimately familiar with the hardships of local commerce than a rogue trader. I want to take a look at the catalog of components available for purchase. So, Mark 100 Auger Array. Oh no, that's what we have equipped. We get the Mark 201B Auger Array. Provides void ship weapons with targeting data, granting 90% hit chance and 5% critical hit chance. So it goes up by 10% hit chance. And Jovian Pattern Class 1 Drive. Oh. Okay, we know how to do that already. This plasma drive provides 13 speed along with low acceleration and braking. So we lose acceleration and braking, but we get 2 speed. Alright, let's check out the Dead World next. Alright, we'll check out Pascal's old hangout, Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17. Lord Captain, the station's airlocks have been sealed from the inside. A Vox recording is stating that the priesthood of the Alter Templum Calixis, should be EXT, right? 17. A sanctuary have no desire to communicate with the lady and are refusing access to guests on the basis of the Adeptus Mechanicus' privilege of inviolability. granting them sole jurisdiction over their sacred sites. Is that all one sentence? Gosh. Alright, well, can't go there yet. Alright, so Footfall. Alright, Void Dock, Alpha Row. Oh, that's right, Heinrich is supposed to leave. But I'm sure he'll be back. I guarantee that the Lord Inquisitor is going to reassign him to us. Then at some point down the line, I'm sure the Lord Inquisitor will betray us. Pretty standard trope that Inquisitors are too close to heresy for too long. Hey, it's a cherub. Liege Representative. The welcome procession is not particularly long, but it does attract attention. Everyone is dressed in their finest apparel, every button gleaming. Standing in front of the others is a woman with clearly expensive implants. She bows in a solemn curtsy. Rogue Trader, Footfall welcomes you. On behalf of the Liege, Lord Vladimir Tokara, allow me to express my joy at your arrival. The Liege awaits you at his residence. But should you have other business to conduct on the station, I'll be honored to serve as your guide. Cassie's lip curls slightly. This is so familiar. Behind the amber-colored scattering of words of welcome, far less appealing hues lurk, murky and diluted. The look of someone accustomed to lying and hiding their intentions. Adira jerks her head, shakes it, and hisses through her teeth. Someone's coming, and they're coming for us. Watch out, Lord Captain. Abelard sighs, and casually places his hand on his weapon. Address Adira. Who's coming? Judging by the voices, there's a lot of them. Angry. They've got teeth, but they aren't that sharp. Their strength is their numbers. Pray, what are you talking about? What could you mean by such a cryptic pronounce? She doesn't get to say the rest.
Hey, newcomers! How's this for a warm welcome?
Well, there goes the procession.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
So,
I will fight if I must.
Cherubs are essentially servitors, but unlike servitors that are actually made with a human, they're artificially created. So they don't actually use, well, there may be exceptions to that rule, but they don't actually use infants to make the cherubs. Let's level up. I guess we can't do that while we're in combat. Fair enough.
It will be done. Indeed. Victory is imminent.
I'll see to it personally.
eradicated.
That'd be the front line. So make this the rear. So also read to see what these do. The front line. The Grand Strategist marks an area of 4x4 cells on the battlefield. The front line... Oh, never mind, that's not a comma. All allies on the front line gain a plus 15% bonus to armor, and all enemies suffer plus 9% more damage from any source. And the front line can be moved by using this ability again. Back line. The Grand Strategist marks an area of 5x2 cells on the battlefield, the back line. All allies in the back line area gain plus 15% cover efficiency and dodge, and plus 14% dodge reduction. And it can also be moved by using the ability again. And the rear. The Grand Strategist marks an area of 5x2 cells on the battlefield, the rear. All allies in the rear deal plus 15% range damage, gain plus 7% over penetration, and plus 7% critical hit chance. And the rear can be moved by using this ability again.
Request approved. Running binaric override. The Omnisire condemns you.
On it.
No! These ruby flashes are choking me! As the Emperor commands, I act.
I'm actually pretty unhappy with my current positioning.
None can escape the Emperor's judgment. I'll do it. Faith without deeds is worthless.
Oh, I could have... That's fine.
Anything else?
Isn't this a job for the serfs? If I may?
The Omnisire knows all insignificant value.
He's at a pretty absurd amount of damage. I'll move the front line over this way.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Let's stay in
It
Amelia.
shields me.
Give us a little mini boss.
At your beck and call.
Oh, there's more here than I thought. I really need to get in the habit of going through this whole thing and looking at all the enemies.
Request approved.
It's as good as done.
I'll do it. Each strike is a prayer. As the Emperor commands, I act. Cleanse and purify!
I can't quite get to the position that I want to over there, so... Next best thing.
Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it. On it.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Vital function successfully terminated.
I might hunker down and let them come to me. I'm always pushing forward, but we have a decent position here, so... But they're not going to come to me, so I need to push forward. And we leveled up. The shivering young servant looks up at you with horror in his eyes. Emperor, protect me. They killed. Every time. I warn them, and they go all, Dear Emperor, our Lord and Savior, how could this have happened? Who could have thought? Adira spits on the ground in annoyance. Stop quivering, unwashed worm. Fear not, young man. We took care of the attackers. Do you know who they were? Your lordship, those guys were Anvers. They're a gang. They're the worst, I'm telling you. They're scared of no one, not even Liege Tokara. He glances around like he's expecting more bandits to appear. Does this kind of thing happen often around here? Shooting, yes. Attacks on nobles, not very often. Unless it's the Anvers. They're vicious. Not a week goes by without them killing and gutting somebody. They're wicked heretics. They respect nothing. They follow no rules. Go report this to the Liege. Yes, I'm sorry, your lordship. I'll just go report to the Liege. They killed her. They killed my lady. Oh, this is terrible. Well, off to a good start. Okay, well, I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll begin exploring Footfall after we level up. And we'll loot these guys. I assume Bloodstained Amelia will have unique loot of some kind. Or at least better loot. Opticon 22. Alright.
I have a nose for profit.
Either way, for now,
for adventure.
Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.